Hi and welcome to pmblounge.com. This is Lounge Fever. This is a series of videos where we try to answer your questions that we receive through email, YouTube comments, Twitter, and whatnot. So, question for the day is: can scope baseline change with a change in WBS dictionary? Now, if there is a change in the WBS dictionary, can that be the cause of a change for the scope baseline? Now, as always, the links to the videos where we talk about WBS, where we talk about the scope management knowledge area, where we talk about your other questions in the series of Lounge Fever for the scope management knowledge area, will be available in the description. As always, you can go over to the playlist section of this YouTube channel and you can search for videos, the series of videos on topics that you are looking forward to. Any knowledge area, any specific concept like project management plan, all of them will be available in the playlist section of this YouTube channel. With that being said, that being cleared, let's get started and try to understand what happens in a case where there is a change in the WBS dictionary. Alright, so if you have seen any of our previous videos on this topic, you already know about this quirky equation, which is scope baseline is equals to project scope statement plus work breakdown structure plus WBS dictionary. So while other baselines could be a single document, scope baseline is basically a mixture of three documents. It is a combination of these three documents: project scope statement, WBS, and your WBS dictionary. Now, what is a baseline? So a baseline, you can consider it as a snapshot that the stakeholders agree on, right? So let's say if somebody comes to you and tells you, okay, show me your scope baseline, right? You will show him or her a snapshot of the project scope statement, the WBS, and the WBS dictionary, which was agreed upon by all the key stakeholders, right? The other way to look at this is if you are going out and seeking a baseline vote on your scope baseline, then you will give them a copy of project scope statement, WBS, and WBS dictionary as it stands today. Once they approve it, it is approved. That's the snapshot that was approved. Now, if there is a change in the WBS dictionary, which was part of your scope baseline, right? You are essentially making a change in that snapshot, right? A snapshot is a still, it cannot change. So if you have an approved scope baseline and then that means and then there's a change in the WBS dictionary, that means you need to get the baseline approval or the baseline vote once again. And yes, that does include a change in even a single work package entry in the WBS dictionary. In our previous videos, we have discussed how a WBS dictionary looks like, right? In our last video itself, we talked about how you can keep certain fields of the WBS dictionary, right? If you're making an entry of a work package in the WBS dictionary, there are several fields that you need to fill in. You can keep certain fields empty if you are not sure about that information. Now, with those empty fields, if you go out and seek a baseline vote, and let's say you're granted that baseline vote, tomorrow, if you're going to enter any information in those fields, you would need a baseline vote again, or you would need the WBS dictionary to be re-baseline. As a result, your scope baseline will be re-baseline, right? So as simple as that. Even a single entry in your WBS dictionary, right? Even a single entry of your work package, if you are making a change, that calls for a change and that calls for a re-baseline of your scope baseline. What if a change is approved by the change control board? So there is a change control board. If you're not sure what we are talking about here, what change control board is or what change requests are, I'll share a link in the description below that talks all about change management. Now, if there is an approved change that impacts the scope baseline, corresponding changes are made and a re-baseline vote is sought. So let's say there is a change. Let's say there's a change in your project scope and it is approved by the change control board. That means if any change that's approved by the change control board, you as a project manager, it's your responsibility now to make sure that the change is accommodated. Now, to accommodate that change, you might have to create, change, not create, but change your WBS, right? You might have to add a certain work packages if there's an addition of scope, right? Or if there's a reduction in scope, you might have to change your WBS and remove some of the work packages. If you're removing certain work packages, and you mean if you're removing certain work packages, you need to remove corresponding entries of those work packages in the WBS dictionary as well. So if you're making all these changes, even if the change control board has approved that change, if you're making any changes in the WBS or in the WBS dictionary, you need to get a re-baseline vote, right? This, of course, is a case where you had already got the baseline vote for your WBS and WBS dictionary or the scope baseline as a whole, right? So that's how it works. But it might seem as if, you know on real life projects you work and you receive a lot of changes, and you might feel that this seems to be a process that a project manager will get stuck in, uh, collecting baseline votes, right? Instead of working, there's a change every day that comes in your project. You might think all you need to do as a project manager is to keep collecting baseline votes, but it's not generally as time consuming as it might seem right now. There are certain organizations that have their own tools. Let's say there are four people who need to provide a baseline vote. That document, let's say a scope baseline, right? Let's talk about scope baseline. Let's talk about the project scope statement, the WBS and the WBS dictionary. Those three documents will be stored online. And if there are four people that need to provide the baseline vote, if there is a change in the WBS dictionary, right, the project manager or the project management office, right, that is supporting the project manager, they can go in, they can make the change in the WBS dictionary, and an automated email or a notification can go out to the four stakeholders who need to approve that change and provide their baseline vote. So it is not, it's not like the project manager has to individually send out emails after emails to all the stakeholders who need to provide their baseline vote, right? These are things which can be automated. These are basically logistics. They are not generally as time consuming as it might seem. But again, if there's a change in a baseline document, yes, a re-baseline vote will be required. So I hope that answered the question. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/pmplounge and twitter.com/pmplounge. Send your queries. If you have any such queries like these, send them out to pmplounge@gmail.com. Feel free to visit the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.